The GT3 RS is the new Supra. Everybody loved the Supra, and then everybody hated the Supra. Now everybody loves the GT3 RS, and soon everybody's going to hate it. And I 100% agree with that. There are so many other cars around that price that I would take over a GT3 RS. I would take a 720S over a GT3 RS every day of the week. A 720S is going to be way more fun on the street. How is it going, guys? Drew Peacock here, back with another video, and I just noticed, you guys could see my room's kind of a mess. I was like cleaning it, and then I stopped, and this was like a couple weeks ago, and everything's just kind of laid out. So I will finish cleaning it today, so you don't see all the trash everywhere and stuff like that. I apologize for that. It's actually not that messy. Like my desk is pretty bad. Anyways, today, car hot takes. It seems like everyone has one. Some are good, some are bad, some are just downright horrible. Today we're going to be looking at your guys' hot takes. We've talked about mine in the past. I'm going to see if I agree with you guys. I did a poll right now on Instagram, so if you replied, good for you. If you want to be a part of these videos, go follow me on Instagram at ___ Drew Peacock. By now, I'm sure you guys know the Instagram, so just go follow it. You get the latest updates there, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Let's dive right in. So if you don't know what a car hot take is, and by the way, I'm going to be using my phone to read these off really quick. If you don't know what a car hot take is, it's pretty much if you have an opinion that's vastly different than most people. Like, it's like, oh, I don't know. Anyone who drinks apple juice likes men, or something like that. That's a crazy hot take. Absurd hot take. I actually like apple juice, so that's not true because I have a girlfriend.
No. Okay.
So that being said, we're going to talk about car hot takes. First hot take from Ledger 2JZ says Mopars are the new ricers. And honestly, I think Mopars have been the new ricers for the longest time. Most Mopars I see at car meets are just LBGTQ light kit and like some stupid ugly wrap, and that's it. Like, they usually still are stock ride height, stock wheels, stock tires, stock warranty underneath the hood, and they just do the lights and the wrap, and that's it. They call it a day. I don't know if it's because their APR is so high they just can't afford mods, or if that's just genuinely their build. Their build consists of lights and wrap. They also are always the first to rev it or try to swing it and just try to show off. I feel like they're trying to compensate maybe a little bit. There are some great Mopars out there, don't get me wrong, but most that I see at car meets, and maybe I'll go to a car meet tonight, most that I see are beat. It ain't a build. All right, this one's actually from my roommate. He might be throwing a little shade at me. From Sergeant Katan, just because you have slicks, it doesn't mean you're fast. Sir, are you talking about my Mustang downstairs? I feel like he might be throwing shade at me because it's to look at it every day when he leaves. I do agree with him, though. It seems like a lot of people's first mods are just slicks. Only Rears is a great Instagram page where he shows people that just buy slicks, and they just like usually buy them very incorrectly and put them on the wrong vehicle and then end up selling them. It seems like that's what he posts a lot. But you don't need slicks for street driving 90% of the time. Like, you really don't. My Supra is a great example of that. My Supra makes more horsepower than my Mustang. Okay, well, it did before it burned down. It made more horsepower, and it had 18-inch wheels on it with a street radial, like literally a street tire, the ET Street SS. It wasn't a drag radial, it wasn't the ET Street R. The ET Street SS, you still have tread. It's a good compound. You can get away with it and not have to buy a 17 or a 15-inch wheel. If you have great tuning, you utilize boost by gear, you have good suspension, you don't need to select. Not until you're close to like 1,000 horsepower, or you're consistently doing digs. But even then, a lot of these dig cars, 400 horsepower, you don't need slicks. You just, you really don't. So yeah, I mean, that's not really a hot take. I think most people would agree on that. Let's get into some juicier ones. This one is from Zach Huns. I think I pronounced that correctly. Cars are a waste of money. Just get a Camry and call it a day. He's not wrong. Cars are a massive waste of money for the most part. But, I mean, everything is a waste of money. People could say video games is a waste of money. For girls, makeup's a waste of money. Or whatever it wants to be. Anything is technically a waste of money. If it's not a necessity of life, it's a waste of money. However, if it brings you happiness and it's not harming anyone, I don't see the red flag with it. With me, I think of it as assets. My McLaren is my savings account. I put money into my McLaren, and not like literally, but into my payment. I obviously didn't buy it cash. I ain't got it like that.
How many V-Bucks do you have? I don't know. About 70,000.
And when I will go to want to buy a house, I will sell my McLaren and I will get, you know, let's say $100,000, and that's my $100,000 saving account. That's the way I look at it. They are a waste of money. I agree with you. I would be much wealthier if I did not spend all my money on my cars. However, I would not be here though. So there's that. This one is from EJ Gatans, however you want to pronounce that. It says Starlight's played out unless it's luxury AF. Starlights and interior mods are one of those things that I personally do not care about. In a sense of, you either do them and go crazy or don't, and it doesn't affect me because no one really sees it. It's literally for the driver and his passengers. So like, I don't care. You can do footwell lighting. You can do whatever you want to the interior. I don't have a strong opinion against it, any of it, against any interior mod, because at the end of the day, no one's really going to see it. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go and put it in my EG hatch for sure, but you know, if you have an Infiniti Q50, Q60, you have a Lexus, like, yeah, put some Starlights in it. If you know you're gonna keep the car for a while, might as well. Damn, I don't know what I ate, but it is going through me like a drill. Holy crap. Anyways, this one is from Caleb Wilton 9. He said Wagon is better than hot hatch. I don't know. I mean, I like hatches. I like wagons. There's not too many wagons. They've grown out of popularity, so it's really hard to find any car in a wagon. But like a Subaru WRX wagon, I mean, that's a badass car. But like, there's not really anything else. I mean, you can go like BMW wagons and stuff like that, but there's not too many wagons anymore. So I do like the hot hatches. However, I can name like 3 hot hatches right off the rip. Thought I heard my Civic alarm go off. I love the new Toyota Corolla GR. I love that car. 10 out of 10. Love it. Great vehicle. I love the Ford Focus RS. I think it's a great looking car. I think it's a good performer. Great vehicle. And I even like the FK8 Type R. I really do like the new one 10 times more. But I mean, it's a good looking vehicle. It is a little riced from factory with all of its fake vents. But you can't deny it. Like, I mean, it looks sporty. And it probably drives good too. As for wagons, I think they're more practical and definitely a better daily driver. If you're going to only have one vehicle, a wagon would be a great vehicle to have if you can find a sporty wagon. But they don't make them too much anymore. So I would still say hot hatches are better. All right, this one is from BK2_Trey. It says Hyundai is the best car brand ever. You're smoking that crack. They are definitely not. Do you guys not remember all the Genesises and how cringe those things are? I have never seen a cool Genesis. I'm just going to say that. Oh, well, they're kind of their own car brand now. It doesn't matter. They started with Hyundai. I still associate them. Ain't nobody repping KDM. I'm just going to say that. It's JDM or American Muscle. KDM is like an outlier, okay? That's like Mars. You got Earth and the moon, and then you got Mars. Not a great analogy, but you get it. All right, here we go. Angel 904. He says, no matter what you do to a BMW, it sounds like wet farts. I think that's false. There are good sounding BMWs out there. I think a lot of these people, especially people that just go to car meets at night and just love ripping it on the exit, they just like damn near straight pipe their thing and ask for the most aggressive burble tune out there. Burble tunes are the issue. I don't think it's the car. I think it's literally just the tuning that these people do. They go to all these like TikTok fanboy fucking tuners and they just love that burble tune. They don't care about performance. They don't care about longevity. They just want it to break necks while they're leaving car meets. Even though it's breaking necks for the wrong reason, that's all they care about. I've heard great sounding B58s. I've heard great sounding S55s. I mean, there's good sounding BMW motors out there. It's all in the tune. And we'll just leave it at that. All right, this one is from Matthew WRX STIs. I think he's kind of throwing shots at me, and that's fine. It says supercars with race car styled wraps need big rear wings, comma, LOL. So I'm pretty sure he's talking about the marble wrap McLaren, and I will tell you why that is 100% false as of right now. There is no point in me throwing a big rear wing on the vehicle to band-aid the problems that it has currently. It would look great. Don't get me wrong. It would look great pulling into Cars and Coffee, and I do want one. I already have the design of the rear wing already, like, we've already talked with it with Voodoo, and we're gonna do it, but we need the car to be dialed in mechanically before we throw on an extra wing, okay? So we need the car to perform at its best with the best alignment, the best camber settings, the best wheel and tire setup, the best just tire size combo setup, and we need it to be dialed in as great as possible to where we are literally limited to downforce. We are literally limited to grip. Once we have it dialed in as good as possible, and I'm actually working with a couple great people to get this done. Once we get that, then we can go ahead and toss on a big wing. But also, you're kind of flawed in your logic because you can't just throw a big wing on something. You 100% need to throw a big wing on something, and you need to balance it out with a front splitter setup or just front aero in general. You throw a big wing on something, your rear end is going to be pushing down and your front end is going to be lifting up. You cannot do that. So hopefully you learned something from this little TED Talk I just went on. It would look great, but it would not be functional. All right, here we go. This is from Boy6515, and it says, Ford is on top of the car game, always has been. And honestly, I can't argue with that. Ford right now is the only person still producing a V8, not only a V8, but a manual V8 in the American car scene. You don't hear about twin turbo Camaros being fast. You don't hear about twin turbo Silverados being fast. You hear about twin turbo Mustangs. You hear about twin turbo F-150s. These people are out there dogging on the cars out in the street racing scene. There's a lot of great TikTok car creators with Mustangs and trucks and stuff like that are just setting crazy times, just bowling people. I think when it comes to racing, yes, Ford right now is kind of on top of the game. I mean, you can buy a Gen 2 or Gen 3 Coyote for like 30 grand or less, depending on year and mileage. Throw $7,000 at it and make 800 to 900 wheel horsepower. You'd be in the car, let's say you bought it for 22, you'd be in the car 30 grand and have 800 to 900 wheel horsepower. That's insane. Now, you might have to do a couple things to make it last, but you get my point. It is the cheapest dollar per horsepower car, I think, out there. A lot of the other cars that people might say, like the Mark V Supra, you can't get into that car for less than 40 or 50. Dollar per horsepower, I just think it wins. From projects.bv, he says, rep wheels are fine on cheap cars. And I've honestly changed my opinion over the years. A lot of people were kind of mad that I had ESRs on my Supra, even though they weren't necessarily a rep wheel. They are known as a rep wheel. They are known as a rep wheel manufacturer, and I would kind of agree with this. I always kind of have, I think, said, like, I don't expect you to put a $5,000 set of wheels on a $3,000 car. Like, I think that just makes sense. And there's people out there who think that just because they did put a $5,000 set of wheels on their clapped out Honda Civics or Miatas, that they, I don't know, can talk louder than everyone, I guess. Which is just still not the case. Like, you don't earn points for having real wheels if your car is clapped to shit. At the end of the day, you're in the car scene, not the wheel scene. Anywho, yeah, I mean, rep wheels, as long as they're like a trusted manufacturer, I wouldn't go get no XXRs or anything like that, or some JNCs or whatever. But as long as you go get something that you see other people repping and they're not having issues with, like I said, I know a lot of people associate ESR with a rep manufacturer. I don't think they are. I think they've really drifted away from that. They still sell their fake TEs and stuff like that, but it's one of their hottest selling wheels. You know, would you cut off thousands of dollars per month of income because of a rep wheel? I wouldn't either. I understand why they still sell their wheels like that. And I know that their wheels are made super sturdy, and they have crazy warranties with all their wheels. So, I mean, yeah, I would 100%, if you were looking at a cheaper set of wheels, go with ESRs. They have anything from cheap wheels to super high-end custom forged wheels. So, great wheel manufacturer. I'm not saying this because I am sponsored by them. I would genuinely just spend my money there compared to anywhere else. I actually might be getting another set of ESRs for the Supra you'll see. I don't know. I don't want to reveal anything yet. But yeah, don't buy a $5,000 set of wheels for a $2,000 car. Don't do that. You would look stupid. If you want a real wheel that's super cheap, RPF1. Can't go wrong with it. All right, Ernie the Cheeseball said the 300ZX is the best looking JDM car. It's one of the best looking JDM cars, and I would agree. There's not much else that can kind of compare to that low and sleek, wide look of a 300ZX. I'm glad he didn't say like a 3000 GT. I don't like how 3000 GTs look. If I were to say the top dogs of like the import scene, the JDM scene, especially in the 90s, Supra obviously, Skyline obviously, 300ZX, and FDRX7. I think those are the 4 top dogs. Obviously, I think the 300ZX is bottom of those 4, but it's definitely a top 5 car for sure. In looks, I don't know about performance. I know they're not they're not the most reliable. Let's just say that. All right, we'll do a couple speed round. F.F.HZ said, "Fun is better than fast." And as somebody who has both, I think I would agree with him. There is a fine line between fun and fast, or fastest, I should say, because that's what his thing said. If you are making your car the fastest car possible, or you're trying to, you are going to not have fun along the way. My Mustang is fast. Right now, since the Supra fucking burned down, it's my fastest car, and it is not fun to drive because it is so rowdy. You cannot have fun with the car on the street. I need an airstrip amount of length to have fun with that car. It is not fun. I think, honestly, if you're building a street car, 700 wheel, 800 wheel max is plenty to have fun with. You can still get on it. You don't got to worry. I mean, if you're an experienced driver, you don't got to worry about really hurting anyone. It's still a lot of horsepower. I'm talking you got to have years of experience to really like get on it consistently and control it. But you can get on it. You can have fun. You can play around and stuff like that. And you're not going to, decimate yourself. You definitely still can if you're an idiot. But it's only going to go as fast as your foot goes down. So yeah, my Civic, although one of my slower cars, it's still fast. I mean, it makes almost 500 horsepower. It's really fun to drive because I can put that power down on the streets, just leaving stoplights. And it's super fun to do. All right, this one from Brand.Tello says, track fitment is greater than stance. 100% agree with that. I think there's nothing sexier on a car than having a nice wheel and tire setup, some nice proportionate tires. You got some meat on there, nothing crazy, but you're running a 17 or 18 tire depending on the car. And you have a nice sidewall. You got a nice track fitment. There's nothing better looking than that. All right, this next one is from Wildcat_official, and it says LFA is the most overrated car. It has 10 out of 10 sound, but 6 out of 10 in every other category. I don't even know if I would say it has 10 out of 10 sound. I think it's a good sounding car, but it's not the best looking car for sure. I definitely do think it's a little overrated. It's a unicorn, and I've only seen like 1 or 2 in real life. Maybe only 1 actually cruising on the street. And I remember it. It was a couple years ago. I know exactly where it was at. But I think it's more, it's definitely an overrated car. Like it's a Japanese supercar, so of course all of the JDM fanboys are going to get wet over it. But I do agree with you on it being overrated. You never really see them doing jack shit. So right then and there, that lets me know that car's pretty damn overrated. It's a cool car, and I would love to own one. But if the car's so cool that you never want to drive it, it's not that fun. Okay, this next one from OK.Yandell. It says, giant wings look stupid, even if they are functional. I don't think so. I think once you get to super high levels of racing and you see these like time attack cars, I mean, if they're functional, they're functional. If you're trying to scrub off milliseconds, you're going to need all the help you can get. I mean, definitely seeing them drive on the street can look stupid depending on the car. Like you see these, Evo X's with giant wings and these Subarus with giant wings, and they've never seen a track before in their life. But you see some of these time attack cars ripping around the track and you're like, holy crap, that car's carrying a lot of speed through corners. It's because it can. So I don't agree with that at all. On the street, maybe, but even then, I mean, if it's a track car and you can tell it's a track car. All right, we'll do 2 more, and these are definitely going to boil some blood. All right, this one from Isbenz GT. It says, Hellcat is one of the most overrated cars, and I 100% agree with that. It is. It's just an overrated car. People see the horsepower number that they come with, and they think that they could just buy it and just be the fastest thing on the streets, and it is far from the truth. I've seen Hellcats lose to 500 horsepower cars. I'm pretty sure my Civic out there would beat a stock Hellcat. It's making 400 something to the wheels, and it weighs half of the weight of one. So I think it would be very easily beat a Hellcat, at least a normal Hellcat. I don't know about a red eye, but I will definitely try to hunt some down in the future. I think it's overrated. I do think they're cool cars, but you need to really put money into them because they weigh so much. They're a heavy, big car. I mean, it is a true American muscle car. It's a big, heavy, muscular, high horsepower car, and they sound cool, but they're definitely overrated. Buying a Hellcat and leaving it stock it's pretty goofy in my opinion. All right, this next one from C6 Luke says, needs to be more gatekeeping in the community. Too many ricers / shitty builds. And I've been saying this for years. And I've been telling people what's going to happen. And it actually happened. The car scene is overrun with ricers. You can't go to a car meet anymore and see more than 5 cool cars. It's kind of sad. And that might even be a highball, depending on where you live. I'm going to try to go to a car meet tonight, like I said. And we'll see how many cars I see that are cool. But most of the time now, it's just regular traffic, everyday ricers. And I know a lot of people get offended when you say that, but it's just the truth. The car scene isn't for your eco-friendly daily driver. If you want to be a part of the car scene, you need to earn that. You need to save up and work hard and get that car. That's what got me, honestly, my first job. My first major job was I wanted to have a cool car. And I was like, I need to save up money somehow. So I went out and worked for it. I don't think you should respect all builds. I think that will help people grow and push into making better things. Because if not, if you just tell everyone that they're doing great, even if they're doing horrible, they're going to settle for horrible. They're never going to try to just build their car up cool. They're just going to be like, well, everyone said it's cool that my Hyundai Tiburon has scratch marks on the hood. Like, that's cool. It's cool. It's a cool build. Everyone likes it. They say it looks cool. They're never going to actually strive and push themselves to get something cooler. And they're going to settle, and they're just going to be like, oh, well, that's it. Done deal. I'm sorry, but that's not the world we live in. The car scene is about, like, building something that, like, I guess expresses you. But at the end of the day, I think it's more about just building a cool car. Something that's fun to drive, something that is, you know, great performing car. That's what I do it for. I build my cars to make them perform as great as they can and to have fun in them. That's the only reason why I build my cars. And I don't care what other people think about them. I like them. And if you care about what everyone thinks, then maybe the car scene isn't for you. All right, this one from Merrick _036 says, lower power cars are just as fun as high powered cars. And I would 100% disagree with that. It is not as fun. You can have fun in a lowered power car, but a lot of people say, oh, well, it's more fun to drive a slow car fast as you can a fast car slow. No, it's not. No, it's not. Who the hell is driving a fast car slow? Doesn't make sense. I guarantee I was having fun on the track. Even though I was slower than some people in my McLaren, I guarantee I was having fun. I can promise you that. I was having a lot of fun. And a lot of people arguments too are like, oh, well, you can't really put the power down, like, you know, on the street. You could put just as much power down as that slow car and still go just as fast, a little faster even. You know, let's say a Miata, wide open throttle, getting on it onto the freeway on ramp. It's just flying to bop, 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 taking a little twisty, getting on. You can still get on it in a faster car. Maybe not as much, but you can still let her eat. So I don't agree with that. I think that's, you know, I think you're trying to convince yourself that. I was trying to find this last one that I really wanted to talk about, and I couldn't find the exact one, so I'm sorry, because I know somebody commented it. But it said, the GT3 RS is the new Supra. Everybody loved the Supra, and then everybody hated the Supra. Now everybody loves the GT3 RS, and soon everybody's going to hate it. And I 100% agree with that. I will give Harry STQT's credit, because he does say the GT3 RS is overrated, so that's kind of what we're talking about. And I don't think these kids understand how unobtainable those cars are. Like, some of these kids think, oh, dude, when I grow up, I'm going to buy a GT3 RS. You're not going to buy a GT3 RS. That is not going to happen. Unless you win the lottery, you are not going to buy a GT3 RS. You have a better shot owning 3 Mark IV Supras than you do buying a GT3 RS. You don't understand how unobtainable those cars are. I do think it's a great performing car. It's definitely a track built car, but there are so many other cars around that price that I would take over a GT3 RS. I would take a 720S over a GT3 RS every day of the week. A 720S is going to be way more fun on the street. It looks way cooler, and it probably, I don't know if it sounds better. I think they sound just as good. I would take an Aventador over a GT3 RS. I think it's a really cool car, but the GT3 RS, it doesn't even come in manual. So if you want to sit here and be a real stickler about it, it doesn't even come in manual. Everybody's just wet about it because of TikTok and Instagram and social media. It's a cool car, don't get me wrong. 10 out of 10, great car. I bet it rips on a track. I bet it's fucking 10 seconds, 20 seconds faster than my McLaren around most tracks. It's a fast car. But at the same time, it is just all hype. Okay, I had to go use the bathroom. Write that in there. So that's that. Anyways, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Let me know some controversial hot takes down below. I think I was pretty good with dealing with these. I think I was pretty good. Anyway, subscribe, and until next video, peace. God, I really needed to go.